Alright, market update time. Let's get straight into it. Do not place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video today, because trading is risky and it can cause substantial financial loss. There are so many areas you need to become good at to become a good trader. Emotional mastery, chart reading, trading systems, money and trade management. So this video is just educational only to help you become a much better trader. Alright, market update time. Let's have a look around the board. Pretty much a non-moving day. Russell was the biggest sort of moving at the whole day. If you have a look at the chart itself, what actually happened was, in fact, let me bring up this chart here. Let me bring up this one here. This is the hourly chart, and this is what you're looking on this screen right now. I know it's all squashed up. Let me all open this up. So this is the GOD chart. This is SPY. This is what actually happened on the other. This is the VIX down here, and this is SLV. SLV has just absolutely just taken off like a rocket. And as you guys know, I bought SLV down the bottom here. If you go back and check my video back down here, so I bought the bottom of this, and this thing is just taken off like a rocket. So this thing is up almost 8.5% ever since I bought SLV. So very, very happy with that trade going on. So still in it, but this is the Nasdaq. You can actually see all the different things. This is obviously the S&P, Dow Jones, and also the Russell as well too. So this is the hourly chart, and as you can see, I got the hourly charts all laid out here. I like looking at this screen because whenever I'm doing my analysis, I'll sometimes do this. So this is the thing I love about this piece of software, is that I have many different screens. So if I'm trying to keep it on what the hourly is doing overall, I can right click here. I can go float in layout, so I can float this, and so you can see here now I've actually just taken this whole layout. Whoa! I've just taken this whole layout. I've just put it here, so I can move this to another screen. I can have it on another screen, and it's actually quite handy to have. So really useful to have this piece of software and for it all. So yeah, so it's pretty good. Let me just bring that back into tab back in main menu. So there we go. All indexes hourly. So you can see I've got a lot of different things here. So I want to bring you back to that hourly chart and show you what I see. But firstly, let me actually bring you back. In fact, let me bring you back to the all indexes. This is the all indexes, but just mainly the daily charts. SPY here, bit of a VIX over here, and let me just bring up some pen here for a minute. So let's just bring up a blue. This one here is the VIX. This one here is the SPY, which is the ETF. This is the S&P. Well, you can see it all, right? You can see like this is the Dow Jones. This is the Russell, and this is the Nasdaq. And you can see this is the view that I mainly look at. This view, and I also have another. I also have this in float of another view as well too. And I have that. I have this. I have this here. I have this in the float, and then I'm also keeping an eye on the daily charts as well too. So I'll have this afloat as well. So I'm having this on other screens as well while I'm doing my analysis, looking at stocks and all that sort of stuff. So it just helps me keep an eye on everything that's going on. So yeah, so let's have a look at the daily charts here for a minute. You can see what the bigger picture. You guys know what the bigger picture is for me. I actually think we're likely to continue getting more upside from here. And yeah, I actually did say upside. I actually think the Nasdaq's going to eventually close this gap here. Looking the way this market's holding up and the way the Dow Jones holding up, and you can see with the Russell, with the S&P here. Let me just open this chart right up, and let me open this Nasdaq right up. The Nasdaq was the weakest, but then you have this Russell chart as well too. Let me bring this over like through there. So that's the bottom of it. You can see the Nasdaq actually fell out of its channel through here. You've got but the Russell actually has just stayed back in its channel. It's just actually just bounced off this resistance line, which was this resistance going back all through here as well. This was the weekly resistance line. So all it did was just come down to the channel and just bounce off it. So I'm not too worried about that now. And also the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones, you can see what happened to the Dow Jones. It actually ran down, came back up, and then closed higher on the day. that is. Now you can see it actually ran down. Now where did that bounce off? Look where it actually bounced off. Bounced right off that. That was it. This top point up here is definitely been a point of support. And noticing if I go back to this time back here, this is all the market did. If the market was just going to keep going up, this is all the market did. It just kept bouncing off and bouncing off. And let me just bring up here. Let me bring up a line. Let me bring up, say, I just bring up a black line. You see what happened is the market would run up. It would come back through here. It'd have a little bounce and it'd run back up and it'd come back through there. You know, and then it'd continue up, and you can see it run back up and it'll bounce off, and that's all the market was doing all the way up on this big run up. And now it's doing the same thing. It's just coming back down, it's bouncing back up, and now it's continue moving up. So I still do think that this is a bit of a sucker rally, but on the short term, guys, looks like the market wants to continue seeing their rise. Now look at these swings. Look at these big long wicks on these markets here. The volatility is really starting to pick up here. And the market's pushing up. So is this Dow Jones as well too. It's still holding strong as well. So overall, guys, if I bring up my trend line tool here again, and let me bring up, say, just a pen here for a minute, and we'll go blue. What I want to do here, guys, is I want to show you that you can see here overall, forget that thing there, but you can see what happened in them. This S&P came right down to my bottom of my trend line and bounced back up and closed there. So very bullish sign. This to me looks like it just wants to continue back up here. Same with this Dow Jones well too. We're actually holding strong here. So we actually had this whole support through here, have a whole support level through here as well too. It came down, bounced up, and actually closed higher. So it looks like the market wants to continue up. I'm saying this is likely to continue up because what the Nasdaq hasn't done yet, and that is close the gap. I think the Nasdaq's about to close the gap. Plus everything still looks pretty strong in these channels through here. So the Nasdaq did fall out of this channel, which is actually quite interesting. But again, guys, if I bring this down through here, we've got that point through there. Looks like the S&P to me looks like it's going to run through there. And also, as I said before, that looking at the Dow Jones, if I have that's that top point through there. Plus also we have another resistance point just up through here as well, which is probably going to be a much stronger line. I do think that the market may want to try and run to that. And so you can see that there, and now you can see what the market's actually doing here. The market's actually fallen out of this channel. So that's actually a much weaker sign. So I said to you guys yesterday that I think the Nasdaq and the Dow Jones is going to be. Sorry, I think the Nasdaq is going to be the weakest out of the whole lot when actually moving forward. So you can see here on this day chart that the Nasdaq actually fell out of its gap, and the Nasdaq has actually been the weakest out of the whole lot. Where most of these things, the Russell could continue to move up. So as the Russell and the S&P, Dow Jones, Russell has been continuing up, but the Nasdaq has actually hasn't been doing it at all. So it's very, very interesting to see what's happening with the Nasdaq there. Now, again, this is looking on the shorter term here. Okay, I do think I want the Nasdaq to come and close this gap, and I do think it's going to do that. I really do. I don't think the Nasdaq's going to get this close to the gap and then not fill it. So I may be wrong, and that's just my guess anyway. But you know, there's a gap there that's just hovering around on the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq's not in pushing up. But I do say by looking at these markets here, it looks like the market wants to try and have another little push to the high side. Again, guys, what we're actually seeing here, and we're actually seeing this across the board as well too, we're seeing these complete divergences. And what's that divergences? Is that you're seeing the S&P, this S&P being stronger, where the market's actually pushing higher and the Dow Jones are pushing higher. Now the S&P is the strongest, but what you're getting here is the short term anyway. The short term, especially on the short term, you're getting weaker and you're getting weaker. So you can see the complete divergences. The Russell and the S&P and the Dow Jones are the strongest, but the Nasdaq and the Russell continue to be the weakest. Were the weakest today compared to the S&P and the Dow Jones. Now, looking at that, guys, the bigger picture for me too, guys, the bigger picture for me is still saying a lot weaker. You know what I mean? So if I go bam like that, all four indexes, bam, and then I bring up, so I click on number 5, which brings up those magical weekly charts. You can actually see what's actually happening through. You can see that the market for me, the market's almost at these highs through here. On the S&P, I still do think on over the next couple of months we're likely to get a rollover and we're going to start heading down. But for the short term, guys, I'm just telling you what I'm seeing, okay? And it looks like looks like if you look at that Russell's almost at that area of this major area of this resistance through here. But the point of me looking at this chart, guys, is I want to share with you that you can see. Let me bring up my trendline tools again here for a minute. Is that you can see that the Dow Jones is getting very close to its highs. The S&P is basically at its highs. Now remember I said before, you can see just by looking at that the S&P is obviously a lot stronger. The S&P is the strongest out of the whole lot because this is almost at its very highs. Dow Jones still has a lot more ways to go to get to its highs. But not that much either. But obviously this is the Russell highs and this is the Nasdaq highs. I don't think the Russell and the Nasdaq are going to get to those highs. I think we're likely to see a turnaround. But on the short term, you know where I'm at with the short term. I think we're likely to get a little bit more rise into closing that gap, and then that's what I do see. So looking on that, let's have another look around at some other. Bam! How do you like those apples? You like my different time frames? May I? So here we go. Here's the different time frames. Let's click on. Let's make this whole thing weekly chart. And now this is just a different view. This is a whole weekly chart, guys. Weekly chart, but compressed up. And I promise you guys, if you're trying to do your analysis, especially on the bigger time frame, squeeze your chart up as much as possible and look at the swings, look at the flows, and you'll be able to see a lot more that's actually happening. Now I've actually had to squeeze this up. This is like probably a quarter, or maybe close to half of my screen that I'm recording on right now. I had to do that so obviously the screen, so this is not too big, but this actually looks a lot bigger than when I'm normally doing it. But looking at this, guys, what you've got to do is you've got to sometimes squeezing up the charts like this, guys, gives you a much better view of what the flow is doing, and the flow is more important than what's happening with the day-to-day action. So, and as I was saying to you before, right, by looking at if you actually squeeze all the charts up, you can actually get a much clearer picture of what's actually going on. Now, definitely a lot of manipulations going on right now. If I have a look at if you have a look at, say, such thing as the Russell, let me bring up here. You can see hello, there we go. The Russell, if you have a look at the Russell and you squeeze the Russell chart up, what does that Russell chart look like? And if you squeeze the Nasdaq chart, what does that Nasdaq chart look like? And this is really interesting, right? Because if you have a look at this overall charts here, let me bring up a line. Bam. And I'm going to, when I'm saying bam, I'm selecting different things. So I'm like, all right, bam, I want to select the line, bam, and now I'm going to select black, bam, and now I'm going to select the thickest out of the whole lot, bam. I tell you what, guys, you've got to love what you do. You know what I mean? Like, these markets are so stressful sometimes, and I know that. And I'm a trader as well too, guys. You know, I'm in there every day. I'm doing my trading. I do my directional trading, and I do a lot of non-directional trading as well too. So if you guys are not sure about what the non-directional trading is, for me, it's like whether the market goes up or down a lot. Now the market has to go up a lot or down a lot. Can't just go. That's where I do a lot of my trading as well too, guys. Okay, so when I say I'm having fun with my trading and stuff like that, I do a lot of trading directional, meaning like I'm picking directions, like I'm SLV. I'm a directional trader there. I've got directional trades going on as well too. VIX, I'm a directional trader, so on and so forth. But I also have a lot of trades going on right now as well too, guys, where I'm actually a non-directional trader, where I want the market to go up 10-20% or down 10-20%. You know what I mean? So, and if that happens, I'll make a good, say, 30, 40, 50% on my trade. So anyway, that's the style of trading that I like to do, especially in this economy as well too. And it seems to help me with the regular flow of the money flowing. Okay. So you've got to have fun with these markets. You know what I mean, guys? You can't be so stressed about these markets all the time. You've got to enjoy yourself. But I know the markets are very stressful and what's happening right now in the economy, but you know, you got to give yourself a break and you got to chill out. So sometimes meditate, sometimes, you know, saying thank you to the universe and yeah, you know, I'm just so grateful, guys, to be able to do this in front of you guys. I'm so grateful to be able to have fun and share my knowledge with you, because for me, fundamentals isn't my forte. Fundamentals hasn't been, I am not a big fundamental person, because I believe, after doing so much study, that the fundamentals come out in the charts first. That the charts are actually telling you what the fundamentals are saying. I actually learned that so many times. And like, for example, like I was looking at Apple here, and I'm like, because I've been trading Apple now for a while, and I looked at Apple, and I was actually in Apple, and I got in, and you can see here, you can see these big bubbles here, and you can see this smaller bubble here. Let me just change the color, and like this smaller bubble here. Let me just make that 100% for a minute. That smaller bubble there. That smaller bubble there, this is where I actually started getting into Apple in short. And the reason why is because, okay, the charts are telling me it's bearish. And then suddenly what happened is that suddenly the market was going down, and the bigger picture to me was telling me that the Apple was bearish. And then suddenly, suddenly the market dropped off, and then obviously there's a really nice setup, and Apple was just flowing through that. So one thing I found, guys, is that the more you analyze charts, the more you go through your charts, and the more you analyze your charts, the more that you will, the more that you'll see that most of the time the fundamentals that are coming out in the charts. Now, I'm not talking about what's happening for the last couple of months. You've got to read the bigger picture, the smaller picture. Most of the time, the chart, that fundamental will come out in the chart first, and then that's just what I see, and that's just what I see moving forward with the overall flow of the markets as well too. So for me, guys, I learned off one of my traders early on, one of my coaches early on. He made a lot of money. He made like, I don't know, $2 million in one trade off a $70,000 position. He made like $5 million in 5 years. He made a lot of money. And he was teaching me, and he was showing me, and as I was listening to him, I thought, it's really interesting that I can see. And he's saying that, yeah, if you read the charts, remember the charts, as Bo Polly says, the charts are an energy thing. Okay, and I know I'm going on a tangent here, but I'm trying to help you from my experiences of being involved with the markets and why I look at the markets and stuff like that. And so the charts are an energy thing, and if you look at the charts as an energy, and as every single bit of information about that market is actually in these charts. These charts form patterns and so on and so forth that really can show you what's going on, and really can show you what's actually happening in the markets. So again, for me, I believe, and I'll go back to the point I was trying to say, is that my thing is that I've never, I've been involved with the markets now for 12 years myself, and every single day I've said to myself, I want to learn how to read these charts. And that's where, as you guys know, so many of you guys have gotten so much joy, but also so much learning out of me showing you my charting analysis, because that's what I do as I read charts. That's what I'm doing. The fundamentals, I believe, come out in the charts. And so I have never studied fundamentals in my life. I know if you said, oh, this one has a really good cash flow, so it should go up and stuff like that. I haven't. I don't do that. And and the reason why I don't do that is because that was a bring home for me. 2008 was an amazing year for me trading, but I had one guy who was fundamentally trading. He was doing fundamental analysis, and that's all he did. And when he was trading, what happened was, in 2008, I was trading technically, and technically I was riding that thing all the way down. I had a lot of stocks, I had a lot of positions, I was doing a lot of put options, and I was just writing it down, and having a lot of money. I had doing really well. But what was happening is these fundamental traders, like my friend at the time, he was making $500,000-$600,000 a month, and I wasn't doing that. So I was looking up to him. I'm saying, what's going on? It's like. He was making $500,000-$600,000 a month. I'm like, wow, you're doing really, really well. But he was only doing really, really well only because that was like 2003. If I bring up, say, the Dow Jones here for a minute, and I squeeze this chart up. Let me just bring up, say, a monthly chart here for a minute. So I'm going to bring up a monthly chart. So he was, and this was back in 2006, 2007 into 2008. He was doing really, really well. From here all the way through to there. And so this is the period of time, and I was doing my trading, and he was doing his trading. He was like, yeah, I'm making $500,000-$600,000 a month, But all he was doing aggressive bullish strategies because the market was going up, and then he was just finding undervalued. He was finding even just slightly undervalued companies, and he'd be buying them. And the thing is this, guys, is that even though he was doing that, he was doing really, really well. Guess what happened? As this market tanked, as this market came off, he kept buying and buying more shares, and then the market rallies like, oh, I told you I was right, and the market drop off, and he'd keep buying more shares, and he'd be throwing the money out of it, and then market drop off even more, and he'd throw even more. It's like these things are just crazy. These things are so undervalued. These things are just so undervalued. And the thing is, the market will drop off even more. He's like, these things are so undervalued. The market drop off even more. And guess what? It was around about this time through here that he lost a lot of money. He had to shut down what he was doing. And I have not heard from him since 2009. Somewhere in around here, I stopped talking to him. And I have not heard from him since. So I'm pretty sure he went belly up, and I'm pretty sure he lost a lot of money in that time. And I'm pretty sure that he was in the process, or he was in the process of he was doing the way he was trading simply was wrong. And then that's what drove home for me back in 2008. Was saying, okay, even though things are fundamentally undervalued or overvalued, does not mean that they can move. Now, if you have something so undervalued like silver, and then suddenly, if I bring up this here, if I bring up, say, SLV chart here for a minute. Again, guys, I'm trying to teach you guys what I've learned in so many years here. Okay, so this is the weekly chart of SLV, basically the silver ETF. Now, the thing is this, guys, is if you can combine your fundamental analysis, with technical analysis, that's a powerful opportunity. Now you've got something going there, and that's the reason. I have always learned that if something fundamentally is so undervalued, like silver is right now, we all know that silver's so undervalued right now. Apparently, it should be like 60 or 90 or 100 or something like that. So it's so undervalued right now. But technically now it's setting up. Technically now it's all setting up to be such a big bullish trend. This is technically setting up now to have a real big run, because now we're starting to break big trends. We're starting to create major high peaks, high troughs. We're now starting a bull trend. We're now starting a bull run. So technically this is running off. Technically, when technical equals fundamentals, now you start to get something powerful. We're talking about bigger picture chart here. We're not talking about what the indicators are doing. No, we're talking about what the charts are doing. The flow of the market, the higher peaks, the higher troughs. The breaking of resistance, the resistance now becoming support. All that sort of stuff. When you have something like that fundamentally undervalued, and technically now it's starting to run, that to me is a good trade. And that's the reason why I'm very, very heavily in SLV right now myself, for the rest of this year. And as you guys know, I bought in SLV here. But I'm trying to tell you that, guys, because I'm trying to show you that the flow of the market technically is where you want to be focused on. The fundamentals come out in the charts first, and that's what you want to look at. You want to be seeing what's going on with these markets, and seeing what's going on and what's happening with these markets by viewing the charts and by reading the charts. See, fundamentals, guys, fundamentally things are so overvalued right now, but make sure that you are just reading the charts and you're flowing with the charts, because I don't want you to be like my mate back in 2008, where you can just buy things fundamentally. There are so many fundamentally things wrong with this economy right now, okay? But I don't trade based on fundamentals. I trade based on technicals, because the technicals are going to show you what's happening and what's about to happen right now. You know what I'm saying? So apparently silver and apparently gold have been so undervalued for a long time. I didn't know that. I just knew my charts were telling me, okay, John, look at this here. And this was all I was looking at with SLV. So I was actually in some other funky strategies with SLV, but I was mainly on a bearish side of SLV. Now, why was that? Why was I just bearish on the SLV? And the reason why was this. Let me actually bring this up here. Was because we're creating these major lower lows and lower lows and lower lows, lower peaks and lower peaks and lower peaks, right? That's why it's something simple as that for me was showing, hey, we are continued to break these major lows, major lows. Now what's happening? Major high, major high, major high. We're now starting to change the trend. You can see this from here, right? We're channeling down. Now we're channeling up. and now fundamentally we're changing the trend, and now we're starting to form a bullish trend. Yes, the silver has been so undervalued through here, but technically it didn't say go long. Technically it didn't say hop into a big long-term position, John. And that's where I didn't. I was actually more bearish than anything. Even though I heard fundamental news saying this is the worst thing to do. This is about the bottom here and blah 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 blah, all this sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I was actually bearish, but I wanted to see the chart turn around. Now I've seen the chart turn around, and you have these areas through here: resistance, resistance, support, support, support. Now becoming support again as well too. We're getting a nice big sort of trend line up. Now we're actually getting the flow of the momentum. Okay, so when we're talking about the art of successful trading, guys, it all comes from the charts. So my analysis and what I do, as you can see, guys, right, everything comes from the charts for me. Everything. And I have about 5% of my decision comes from maybe stochastics and volume. But everything comes from the charts. The charts are king. Charts are going to show you what's going on. The flow of the market. Something simple as those peaks and troughs are going to show you what's going on. And that is the thing. And when you combine fundamentally with technical, now you're talking. Now, the reason why I bring that up as well too is because obviously I'm just going on a big rant because it's a Friday here where I am, and this is my last video for the week, and I want to leave it with a bang, so I want to help you guys out. But also, guys, I'm thinking about the flow of the market and what is actually happening with your own trading. Focus on the technicals, because there are so many times people like Harry Dan have been calling crash for quite some time, and I follow him. But technically, and if I bring up this Dow Jones, let me bring up, what's that? Let me see if I can bring up, what's that? DJ 30? Dow Jones 30. Bam. So, and if you look at this here, guys, Harry Dent's been calling a crash for quite some time. Okay? A crash for quite some time. For years and years and years and years. And technically, the economy hasn't been right. You know, technically, or fundamentally, the economy's been shit for the last 4 or 5 years as well too. Right? I've heard it for the last 4 or 5 years of bad things happen in the markets. But the reason why I'm bearish now, long term, is because what the overall flow of the market's telling me. This market has been so bullish on the upside, and as you can see through here, if I just draw my trend line, you can see this chart has been so bullish on the upside, that once we started breaking major trends like this here, major trend that kept on the high side, and then we broke down, now we hit resistance, and we broke down again, and now we hit up through here. The market is changing. The whole market is changing. Technically, this is changing. And so what's happening? This is the reason why I'm now becoming bearish now, majorly bearish. Every single other economist is saying bearish. But that's fundamentals. The technicals is going to show you the picture there. Okay? Technically, the charts are going to show you. So when I'm reading the charts, guys, this is my forte. This is what I've been focused on ever since. Okay, my forte, guys, has been reading the charts, because once you learn how to read the charts, price action, the charts are king. Price action is king, and the better you can read these charts, the better trader you'll be. And I'm not talking about the candlesticks and one day here and one day there. Yes, I started off this market update with saying one day here, one day there, but that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is reading the flow of the market. We're talking about strength in moves. How strong is that move? How weak is that move? Like we're talking strength moves, we're talking peaks and troughs, we're talking breaking of support and resistance, we're talking the flow of the market, all those different things. The better you can read this chart by itself, the better trader you'll be. I promise you guys. I promise you that's what's happened with me as well too. Now, there's obviously a lot of other things that go into the art of successful trading, like only trading when you're 100% calm in yourself and you're not rushing and you're not trying to rush into any trades. Rushing into trades, guys, never get you anywhere. Okay? So, anyway, that's a bit of a tangent. No, not a tangent, but it was a bit of a rant, guys. I don't know why, but I love giving to you guys. I love helping you guys. I love serving you guys. And I feel like sometimes if I can go on these things, and for most people, they won't watch this whole video, and that's okay. But for the 20 or 30% that actually watch the whole video, they're going to get the value out of it. And that's what I'm happy about. At least I get to help you guys. You know what I mean? So, so that's the Dow Jones. Now, what I wanted to share with you guys is, back to what I go before about before I was saying there, is I want to share with you what I'm actually looking at here overall. Now, I forget the Dow Jones here for a minute. What I'm looking at here is this, guys. Okay, so what I'm looking at here is, let me bring up my line. let me bring up my line here again, and I want to show you what I'm seeing here and the reason why I'm becoming bearish. Let's just have a look at this here. You can see that this market has run up. Let's just say call this one big leg, and then we had this one leg down through there, and it actually went to there, and then it ran up through there, and then we had this lower low, and now we're coming up to make an almost a double top through here. Okay, look on this weekly chart. Can you see that? So what do we actually have here? We should actually have this slight lower low. So I have to be bearish on that. The market has never made a lower low ever since here. The market made high, 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 and then you have higher high here. Now you have a lower high, right? So sort of say higher trough and then lower trough there. Okay, now we're making a bit of a slight double top, but we're still overall just slightly, as you can see in this weekly chart. If you look at this bigger picture, we're just slightly wrong color, just slightly still heading down. You can see that's still slightly heading down. We now might be poking just a little bit, but again, look at this bigger picture, okay? Bigger picture is all where it's at. That's what I love, right? Just love that bigger picture. Like the bigger picture. God bless you guys if you're still watching this video right now. Let's continue here. Let me go back to my line, all right? So let's go back up to here. We have a run up through there. We have a run through there, a little run through there. Let's just do this through here. And let's just have a big run up through there, have a run down through there. We have a big run up through there. And now we have a big run down through there. Look at that. What's that? What do we have here? A little higher trough, little higher trough, little higher trough, little higher trough, and lower trough. That's showing something. Now what else is happening? Man, market runs up through there. What is that showing you? Let me bring up a bit of a eclipse here. Shoulder, head, shoulder. It's already created this lower trough here. If you look at the big major flow, right, you can see that's what the bigger picture is showing on the Russell. This is why I've been so bearish on the chart, because the Russell is like, man, this overall massive head and shoulder has been forming ever since basically 2012, 2013. My dooly hooly dooly gooly. What is going on there? It's like, wow, look at that. So it's not only that. When you start to look at like the Nasdaq, up we go, up we go, higher trough, higher peak, higher trough, and it goes, and it just run down, you know, like a big run. I'm having so much fun doing this video. God bless you guys if you still watch this. And the market runs down through here, makes a bit of a slight low through there, and then runs up, makes a lower peak, runs down, makes this low trough, and now it's running back up through there. What's going on there, guys? This is the bigger picture. This is the bigger time frame. Read the charts. What's happening? High trough, 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 high trough. What's this? Lower trough, lower peak. Might be forming another lower peak here. What's going on there? Right, so now we're forming, again, now you can see, if you look at the market like this here, guys, this is the reason why I'm long-term bearish. This is the reason why I have long-term put options on the SPY. This is the reason why I've got long-term put options on the SPY. This is the reason why I have long-term, as much time as I can buy possibly, VIX trades. And this is the reason why I have a lot of volatility trades going on as well too, like non-directional type trades. Anyway, so do you see what I'm saying there? So that's what you want to be focused on, all right? This is what you want to be focused on. You want to be focused on this overall bigger picture. The overall bigger picture for me, guys, is saying, look at this, look at this, look at this. And so, guys, I hope that I'm sharing some light with you in this video. I know this market update's been a bit longer than, and as I said before, guys, 20% of you guys are still watching it, 80% are still not, 20%, I love you guys, God bless you guys, and I hope you guys can see the value in what I'm showing here. When you look at the overall bigger picture of the flow of the market, this is what the market's screaming to you. So you guys that think this Dow is going to go to 20,000 or 25,000, wake up, wake up, look at the overall bigger picture of these markets, all right? So, hey, I could be wrong and this market could just keep going straight up, right? So that's what could happen. But guys, seriously, read the charts, what they're saying. When the Russell and the Nasdaq have been like, especially this Russell chart, it's like when those sort of charts have been making this sort of action through here, and when the bigger and when the overall bigger picture here is showing you that something's going on, guys, I'm trying to teach you the bigger picture is the king. These weekly charts are showing you what's going on, and when you start to see the flow of this market and you start to see what's actually happening here, tell you what, guys, this here is the is where it's at. This here is what we're talking about here. Okay, so and if let's actually just quickly do the while we're actually here, let's actually just quickly do let's just do quickly the Dow Jones. Up through there. Just say that's one big line through there. We had a little bit, but that was just basically vertically straight up. We had a little trough through there, little peak, little high trough, and now we're making just a slight little high peak. So the Dow Jones is only the one out that's saying, I'm not too sure. We're definitely getting a lot of volatility through here, but everything else, guys, is saying this is what's happening, and this is the reason why, guys. This is the reason why I'm so bearish in these markets. Technically, the bigger picture speaking, and I'm telling you right now, guys, the Russell does not make a major topping pattern like this. Major head and shoulders, major head and shoulders on this chart, which has been starting to form since 2013, 2014 to today. We're talking, how many years is that? Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe. It's like 3 to 4 years worth of data has been forming that. Same with this overall Nasdaq as well too. This has been forming since late 2014. So a good couple of years, okay? Good 3 years. Same with the S&P, 2-3 years. The Dow Jones is the one that's just not doing anything right now. So so yeah, there we go, guys. Anyway, guys, that's it for me. I hope that you did enjoy this little market update. I hope that this shows you and shares some light with you with what I'm talking about and what's actually going on, guys. I'm telling you right now. God bless to you guys. I am so grateful and so thankful to have you guys as my following. Guys, I just try to stay humble every day, and I try to share with you guys what I'm seeing here, and try to shed some light on what's actually really going on in the economy. Fundamentally, who knows what's going to happen, but technically we can trade that. You know what I mean? Fundamentally, as I said before, 2008, I don't care how much good fundamentals you had, that thing was going down. The whole thing was going down. And that's the reason why, guys, if you're looking at Russell stocks, looking at Nasdaq stocks, even S&P stocks, everything is still, the bigger picture is still sliding down. So if you guys are still making, say, 20,000 down, stuff like that, that may happen, but it's not saying on the charts. S&P, if the Dow gets to 20,000, the S&P should get to 2,500. That right now the charts are not showing that, and that's where you don't want to be making those claims. I'm making the bigger picture claim that we're likely to get some good movement down because what the overall market's telling me. And it looks like maybe this second half of this year is about to show that big down move. I'm not going to BS you here. Trading is hard. Over my 10 years of trading, I've learned some amazing systems and strategies, and I've put it all in my brand new Grab the Markets by the Balls course. And I'm giving you 100% free access. This whole course is 12 videos long and almost 10 hours of the best systems and strategies that I know. Click on the image below now to get 100% free access right now.